All right, so today we're diving deep into CBD and what it might be doing to our immune systems. We've got some fascinating research here. It seems to be pretty balanced and informative, so I think it'll be really interesting to unpack it together.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of people have questions about the immune system in general.
Yeah.
Like it's not just about fighting off every germ you encounter, right? It's more about keeping everything in balance.
Oh, absolutely. It's like a really delicate dance. And we know that things like stress or a bad diet can really throw things off.
Exactly. The sources actually use this really interesting analogy. They call those disruptions storm clouds. Think about it this way. Having your immune system go into overdrive can actually be just as harmful as having it be underactive.
Wow, that's a really good point.
Yeah, it's like a seesaw, you know? You want to keep it perfectly balanced.
So where does CBD fit into all of this? A lot of people I talk to are curious about it, but they also seem a little bit unsure about what it even is. These sources make it really clear that CBD is not the same thing as THC.
Right.
So-
Totally different. It's a natural compound. It's found in hemp plants, and it doesn't have that psychoactive effect. You know, it won't get you high.
Gotcha.
CBD works in a really unique way. It interacts with our bodies through something called the endocannabinoid system,
Yep.
or the ECS for short.
The sources describe it as like this: internal communication network. It helps regulate a bunch of functions in our bodies. So how does CBD actually use that network?
Okay, so think of the ECS as like this big web of receptors. They're all over your body, and CBD is interacting with certain ones, especially the CB2 receptors. Those are mostly found on immune cells.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
So CBD is like interacting directly with the cells that control our immune response.
Mhm.
This is where it gets really interesting. Does that mean it can directly change how our immune systems work?
That's the big question everyone's asking, and honestly, research is still pretty new. But what we're seeing is that CBD seems to be interacting with those receptors in a way that promotes balance.
So instead of like turning the immune system way up
Yeah.
or shutting it down completely, it's more about fine-tuning it.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. The research suggests that CBD could help modulate the immune response, preventing it from going overboard.
Yeah.
Or not knowing enough.
I see.
So it's like helping the immune system find that sweet spot. It's more like a dimmer switch than an on-off switch.
Oh, that makes a lot more sense. So it's not about just boosting your immune system generally. It's about helping it work smarter, not harder.
Exactly. And this is where things get really exciting, because this is how we start to understand the potential benefits of CBD
Right.
for things like, supporting a healthy immune system.
Okay, so we're talking about CBD interacting with those CB2 receptors, helping to fine-tune the immune system.
Mm.
But what's that actually look like? How does it actually help? What are we talking about here?
Well, the sources highlight three main mechanisms, and they're all pretty fascinating. The first one is probably something you've heard of before, CBD's anti-inflammatory properties.
Oh, yeah, inflammation. That's something we hear about all the time. It's
Yeah.
natural. But it can definitely get a little out of control sometimes.
Exactly. Some inflammation is good. It's essential for healing, and it helps fight off infections. But when inflammation is chronic or excessive, well, that's when we start to run into problems. It's linked to a ton of health issues.
Right.
And the research suggests that CBD might be able to help regulate that. It might be able to prevent the inflammatory response from going overboard.
That makes sense. But how does CBD actually do that? It's not magic, right?
No, of course not. It all goes back to those CB2 receptors we talked about. Remember, they're mostly found on immune cells. When CBD interacts with them, it seems to calm down those overactive inflammatory pathways.
So it's like CBD is saying, hey, immune system, let's chill out a little bit.
Yeah, something like that. And that brings us to the second mechanism, immunomodulation. It's a little more complicated, but it's all about balance.
Immunomodulation.
Oh,
That sounds
oh.
kind of intimidating.
Well, think of it this way. It's CBD's ability to either enhance or suppress the immune response, depending on what your body needs at that time. So it's not just about reducing inflammation. It's about making sure the immune system is working at its best, not overreacting and not underreacting.
So it might actually boost the immune system sometimes.
Exactly. Like research suggests that CBD might be able to help your body fight off infections while at the same time calming down inflammation. So it's really about achieving that balance.
That's incredible. It's like CBD is conducting the immune system, making sure everything is working together in harmony.
I like that analogy. And that brings us to our third mechanism, antioxidant effects.
Antioxidants. I know those are good for you. But what do they have to do with the immune system?
You've probably heard of free radicals, right? Those unstable molecules that can damage cells. They contribute to aging and disease, and immune cells are especially vulnerable to them.
So antioxidants help protect those cells?
Yes, exactly. And that's where CBD comes in. The research shows that CBD might actually have powerful antioxidant properties, so it can act like a shield for your immune cells, protecting them from free radical damage.
Wow. Okay, so we've got these three potential benefits.
Yeah.
Regulating inflammation, modulating the immune response,
Yeah,
and protecting immune cells from damage. That's pretty impressive.
it is. But it's important to remember that CBD is not a miracle cure. The sources are very clear about that.
Of course, it's not a magic bullet.
It's just one piece of the puzzle. When it comes to supporting a healthy immune system,
Right.
it's really important to have a holistic approach to your health. You know, things like eating a balanced diet, getting regular exercise, managing your stress,
Yeah.
and getting enough sleep.
All that good stuff. But what if someone is listening to this and they're thinking, okay, CBD sounds great, but how do I actually use it? Where do they even begin? It can be tough to know where to start.
It really can. There's just so much information out there. The sources we've been looking at, they recommend a few things. First, talk to your doctor.
Oh, that's a good idea.
They can help you figure out if CBD is right for you. And they can tell you how much to take and make sure it won't interact with any medications you're on.
Yeah, that makes sense. Everyone is different.
Exactly. One size definitely does not fit all. And once you've talked to your doctor, if they think CBD is a good option, then you need to find a high-quality product.
Okay.
The sources really stress this. You got to make sure it's third-party tested.
So you know you're getting what you paid for.
Right. Pure, potent, no contaminants. And once you've found a good product, the key is to start low and go slow.
Start low and slow. I like that.
It's all about listening to your body and seeing how you feel.
And then adjusting from there.
Exactly.
We were talking about how much research there is on CBD, but the sources also mentioned there's still a lot we don't know.
That's true. We need more long-term studies. You need to see how CBD affects the immune system over time, and we need to understand exactly how it works.
Yeah. How is it interacting with those receptors, and what's it doing to the immune cells?
Right. Those are the big questions.
And we need to know what the best dose is.
For sure. How much CBD should people take, and how often? That all needs more research.
Well, it sounds like there's a lot to look forward to, a lot more to learn. This has been so interesting. I feel like I've learned so much about the immune system and how CBD might be able to help.
Me too. It's amazing. The immune system is just so complex. It's like this incredible orchestra.
Yeah.
And CBD might be one of the instruments that helps keep everything in harmony.
I love that. So is there one thing you want our listeners to take away from this?
I think the biggest thing is you're in control. You have the power to make decisions about your own health. Now you know more about CBD and the immune system. So talk to your doctor. Choose high-quality products. And remember that CBD is just one part of a healthy lifestyle.
That's great advice. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into CBD and the immune system.